We did want to jump into a couple other things really quickly. One of them being the coaching changes that have happened recently. We've talked about a lot of the stuff that's going on. You know, Scott Frost from Nebraska, Brian Harsin from Auburn, Jeff Collins. You know, a lot of these guys, Herm Edwards, you know, a lot of these guys who were cut midway through the season. Another team that dropped their coach very early in the season, I think around week 5, Alex, if I'm not mistaken, the Colorado Buffaloes. They were pretty terrible, one of the last winless teams in this season, and they didn't look great all year long. But
that's being nice.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, they looked ugly. It was awful.
Yeah.
They were terrible. I mean, when I say they were the two winless teams, they were like out of 130 some odd teams, they were 150. Yeah. Like they were lower than, you know, bringing some Division II teams.
Bunch of those Div 3 teams
right. So having that being said, obviously they were in the market for a new coach, and something that I don't think any of us could have ever even imagined or picked out or anything. Deion Sanders becomes the new head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. I'm going to stop here real quick, Alex. I mean, I'm excited, but I don't know how to feel about this. Right? I don't. Where do I go from here?
I mean, you look at how everything is with transfer portal and all that nowadays. He's gonna get some damn talent there. This is gonna be a whole different team. And I mean, you look at how he talked to those players and said, "Yo, let's get to the transfer portal because I got baggage coming with me."
Yes,
I'm talent is following me, and it's not you guys. So hit the It was just wow, to see a coach pull that, and for him to be like, say it with me and say everything, and the players are saying it right along with them. Like, after he just told you guys that you should leave, I'd be like, man, screw this guy. Like, but it's Deion, and he's shown that he turned Jackson State around like that,
right?
And I feel like I'll give it 2 years. I don't think year one he'll probably win about 6-7 games. Like, he'll be bowl eligible with Colorado. But by year 2, I think he could have a very, very good football team there. Because there was talk of like over 200 transfer portals people out of the 1,000 plus that are there. We're hitting up Deion saying, "Hey, can I come play for you in Colorado?"
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna get some very talented players there.
He absolutely is. And look, if not for anything else than just the name. Look, we saw what he did with the number 1 recruit. He had them flip from Alabama to Jackson State and had all that interest, all that talk about, are they paying? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? We don't know the full backstory, but we do know it's Deion. And when it's Deion, people are going to come. Colin, what you think, man?
I was going to say he actually just hired, I think, or in the process of hiring one of Alabama's offensive coordinators. I think it was the offensive coordinator, but he actually is in the process. One of their coaches, I think, is the offensive coordinator. I'm not positive. I think it is in the works and should be happening soon. But yeah, he is. And then I read a little bit about the backstory, what you're talking about, Sean, about Jackson State. I think a lot of things went down there behind the scenes. I think they owed him money, and that they're not paying and that kind of stuff. And he wanted to coach the bowl game this year, but I think they're not letting him coach the bowl game because I think he was due like
they have told him no.
or something crazy. It was like if he made a bowl game, it was about $700,000 to $500,000 or something like that. They're not letting him coach because they're not going to pay him or something like that. It's just a whole mess. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why he left. And in my opinion, I mean, I would leave. I mean, don't pay me, I'm going. But I mean, it's a shame because I mean of the environment that he created at Jackson State. But he'll do the same thing at Colorado, obviously. And a lot of those kids and coaches the luggage that he brings with him, they know how he rolls. And they may not like it right at the beginning, but I mean, it shows what can be done. If you follow him and do what he says and what he wants you to do. But I'm like Alex. I was laughing when I saw him talking to all those kids, and so these kids like slouching in the chair with the hoodies and everything. Like, you're going, you're going, you're going.
Yep.
And that's fun, dude. I mean, that was he's in the middle, and in his mind, he's like, all right, you going, you hoodie, hat, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Going. But,
well, I mean, look at how he talked to those players at Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
It was, if you're like, your arms aren't showing, you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, you're not having any jewelry showing, you're not even like mismatched socks. Like, he was very, very strict on these guys. You're sitting in the front of class. If your grade slip below this, you're off the team. Like, he was very strict with those guys, and they followed it to a T.
Yeah, basically, his one was,
I'm the way
I am. I'm the way I am because of what I've done. I can wear this jewelry. I can do this because of what I've done and what I've achieved. When you get here, then you can do all that kind of stuff. It ain't time to be flashy now.
Yeah.
You go to work. And I can be prime. I wasn't prime. In FSU. When I was, before I got to the NFL, then I became prime.
Right. And it's funny. And like, to your point, to your guys' point, like, you see in the locker room, like, he'll say before a game, like, what do you need to have your cell phone for? If you're not locked in, you don't need to be here. Get out of here. So that, I think, will be great for him. Now, I do need to address the other elephant in the room, which has been brought up. Nate brought it up just the other day. With Coach Prime leaving, a lot of his rhetoric prior to that was him being in Jackson State, being at the HBCU, was to bring attention and to bring a lot of funds and money and spotlight to the HBCUs. What do we think by him moving, by him leaving? Does he broken his promise to these HBCUs, or in those 2 years, has he garnered enough spotlight? Because let's be honest, I don't know that many people had even an eye on Jackson State at all, even if you live down there. And I mean, to be honest, it takes some of the football historians to even know that that's where Walter Payton went. A lot of people don't know anything about Jackson State. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it is a household name now says something. But, and I'm coming to you, Alex, is this going along with kind of the coaching thing where it's kind of like all these coaches, oh yeah, I'm going to say what I need to say to get the guy, and then after that, it's about me getting the next job? Because I love he's growing, but it's like, do we expect him to stay at Jackson State for 20 years or something like that? Like, what does this say to him, or does it say anything?
I think if even half of that stuff that came out about the money at Jackson State is true, I think that's absolutely why he left. Yeah, because it was sense. After $300K in ticket sales, he was supposed to get a portion of that. He never saw any of it. There was a portion of money that was supposed to come to him and his staff that never showed up. Right. He paid out of pocket for tennis courts, locker rooms, athletic facilities, and we saw these Jackson State kids being taken care of with all these fancy meals and all that. School had nothing to do with that. That was all out of Dion's pocket. Mm-hmm. Dion was paying out of pocket for these bowl games. Like, the school didn't help him very much.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he's moving on now.
Yeah. Jared said he laid the blueprint for HBCUs to follow, and he more than fulfilled his promise to them. He told them what it was from the jump. Absolutely. I love that. And then Kate said no, because Jackson State didn't keep their promise to him. They weren't doing the right thing with his money that he was bringing in. Yeah. Because look, that all that attention and shout out to my granddaddy, who is the total college football purist. And I was like, granddaddy, look at this. HBCUs on national television. This is, well, we had to get prime time in here. Don't nobody want to see prime time. I don't want to see. I was like, granddaddy, but we're on TV. We're on national TV. We're only on it because of prime time. They're just paying attention to prime time. I was like, God, come on, granddaddy. This is progress. This is progress. Come on.
At least you're there. Like,
yeah.
So, hey, and look, this is far more attention than any of us would have ever taken to put on that school. So shout out to them. But this is not the daggone Deion Sanders segment, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. We didn't want to bring him up and talk about it. But there have been a number of other coaches that have gone on and have gone somewhere. We talk about Auburn. Brian Harsin, he left. They had Cadillac come in, and Cadillac, to his credit, got the first victory. I think it was over Texas A&M, and that first game was able to get that, and that was great. And Colin, I'm coming to you. Yeah. Now it's Hugh Freeze. We know Hugh Freeze in his history in the SEC. What are your thoughts on him? What do you think he'll do at Auburn? Is Auburn irreparable? Like,
I don't know if they're irreparable, but I have to laugh at this because I mean, like, all his social media is being watched right now. Hugh Freeze is, and like, I mean, it's in his contract. Like, he has all his social media and all his social interactions are being. I mean, he's being like spied on. Like, I mean, it's just like a private investigator. Like, I mean, all his has disclosed all his passwords, all that kind of stuff like that. So they're definitely putting a handle on him. So what happened before won't happen again. But and honestly, Lane Kiffin's having a field day with this too. But I don't know. It's funny to watch. But I mean, I hope the best. I mean, I don't think it's irreparable, but I mean, you can't overlook the fact that it's been tarnished pretty badly over the past couple of years. And the thing that amazes me is the money they're shelling out for these coaches. It's crazy. Like they keep Gus, they still paying Gus. You're gonna obviously pay Harsin. They're paying him out. So I mean, but I'm not gonna say they're gonna run out of money. I mean, they've got enough cash to probably do it, but it's just insane to me how they pay all these coaches that only stay 1 or 2 years. And that goes back to kind of what we were talking about Deion. Like, do they go in and do they have the mindset of they're going to go in and coach for X amount of years? Right. But then again, when one party doesn't follow through with their promise or commitment, then you got to go. So I mean, either part of it, right? I mean, like either it's the school or you're not performing, the coach not performing, or the school's not doing what they said or helping you out or paying you, whatever, something's got to change. So, I mean, like we said before, though, it's in their contracts to get paid, and they're getting paid. So, it's unfortunate, but I hope the best for Auburn because, I mean, I'd hate to see any school go through what all the negative light they've been going through in the past. So, but hopefully he'll turn around and he'll behave himself.
Well,
we shall see about that.
Right. Yeah, that remains to be seen, and hopefully he can turn that program around because it's a shame to see how kind of far they've fallen over in recent years. Right. Let's go to the Big Ten. Nebraska. We know Scott Frost. They cut him very early in the season, and helped that loss to Northwestern very early. Then, and you also got Wisconsin, who let go of I don't know. Paul Chryst. I always want to say Brett Bielema. I don't know why I want to say that, but they let go of Paul Chryst. Both of them have made moves and got new guys. We know in the NFL, Matt Rule used to coach the Carolina Panthers. He is now over in Nebraska. And for Wisconsin, the old coach of Cincinnati, Luke Fickell, is going there. And as Kate has so eloquently decided to tell me, UNC is about to lose a coordinator to Fickell in Wisconsin, I saw. So who is that coordinator? Because I want to know.
I believe it's your offensive coordinator.
Is it really?
That's what I've heard.
Okay. Oh, God. Okay. We're gonna move on from that one. I'm not talking about anything. My basketball team stinks right now. You know what? Alex, I'm not gonna let you get me off track. Alex, talk to me about these two teams in the Big Ten. What do you think about these two moves?
As a Michigan fan, I absolutely hate them because it's two very good college coaches. As a Big Ten fan and just a football fan in general, I love the hires. We saw what Matt Rule did at Temple and at Baylor. I mean, Baylor was a dumpster fire when he got there, and he turned it around extremely quickly. Obviously, the NFL didn't work out, but he's a phenomenal college football coach. I expect him to turn Nebraska around very quickly. With how Nebraska still being a blue blood, they still can recruit very well. And Matt Rule's shown the ability to recruit very well, so I think they turn it around quickly. And Wisconsin isn't that bad off, and then you get a coach like Luke Fickell, who when there were the rumors of Harbaugh leaving last year, I was like, okay, it would suck to see him go, but if we could get Luke Fickell, it would lessen the blow a little bit. So I'm a big fan of both these guys, and I hate to have to play them. At least they're in the other division, both of them. So, yeah, hopefully we only have to play them once a year, and it's a conference championship or something that.
Oh, yeah. And, hey, shout out to both of those schools getting coaches that have had success, like you mentioned, and bring kind of a little bit of credibility back to the Big Ten. We needed that with some of these schools that have been perennial powers over in the past. Nebraska, we know about all the great years in the 80s and early 90s with them. And then you have Wisconsin, who we can name all of the different running backs that have come out of there, the Monte Balls, the Melvin Gordons, the Jonathan Taylors. Like, we can name all those guys that came out of that school. So we know what you have at Wisconsin, and bringing somebody like Luke Fickell, that's great. I want to knock out two more names real quick. Cincinnati. So now then they had to get a new coach, Scott Satterfield. He's the one who took over the Cincinnati coach. So we'll see how that goes. But in the one that surprised me the most, you talk about former NFL players coaching college ball. UAB, ladies and gentlemen, has a new coach.
Yeah.
Trent Dilfer is coaching them. I didn't even know Trent Dilfer was a coach.
So he's been a very good high school coach for a few years.
Yeah.
But if you look up Trent Dilfer coaching, the first thing you're going to see is him. He got a little out of hand on the sideline the one time. One of his players kind of talked back to him, so he grabbed him by the shoulder pads, threw him on the bench, and was yelling at him.
Yeah,
it's all over the place. You can find it very easily. So that one was a little surprising to me, more for what happened in the high school teams.
Right.
But he was a very successful high school coach, so let's see if we can bring it to this level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, when you got Dion with the hit the transfer portal, you got Trent Dilfer. I'm gonna throw you on the two different coaches now. Let's see how it plans out.
In 10 years, ladies and gentlemen, it's just gonna be a whole bunch of coaches in college that are ex-NFL players. That's it. That's all it's gonna be.
Jeff Saturday, even the NFL coach. Where's just.
Yeah,
that one blew my mind when that happened.
Yeah, that's not an NFL show, but
Guys, we have a chance. If we stay in this field, keep talking about it, and learn some offenses and defenses, we have a shot.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yo.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.